Find some kind of rewards program that would work for your industry, your profession, and tap into it. In today's marketplace, I'm telling you, there are so many rewards programs that you can just tap your customers right into. You don't even need to create it or build one. A lot of times they're already built for you. Hey, I am really excited to talk to you today about how to actually build relationships with your customers. Let's get started. Let's jump right into this. At the end of the day, business is so often thought about in terms of dollars and cents. But at the end of the day, if you can actually build a relationship with your customer, the game changes, because the better the customer's relationship is with you, the higher the likelihood they're going to pass a referral, talk to their friends and family about you, so on and so forth. So I've always found that there are a bunch of different ways that we can add business to the business. But today we're going to really focus on the relationship of generating that customer, the relationship that you have with that customer, and how to actually build that relationship. Because he or she who has the deeper set of referrals will almost always win the game. So what I did was I came up with a bunch of ways that I was speaking at a private mastermind this past weekend, and I was going through the same conversation about how to build relationships with your customers. And I came with a bunch of different ways. So I thought I would just take a few minutes and share a bunch of different ways. I'll kind of explain each one as they go. This is by no means, the end all be all list. This is just a small smattering. We could probably actually talk about this for hours and hours. So let's jump right in here. Number one, connect with and find your customers on social media. No matter where they play, you want to make sure that you are in their space and they are in yours. So if you have a new customer, it could be as simple as something saying, hey, follow us on Facebook, or connect with me on Facebook, or connect with me on Instagram or Snapchat or YouTube or TikTok or Clubhouse or YouTube or whatever. But if your customer is playing on social media, you want to connect with them on social media. Now, here's the follow-up to that is, once you've connected with those customers on social media, if they are doing something in their life that is warranting of you promoting them, take that opportunity, promote them, right? I love, for example, my clients, a lot of them, because they run businesses and they're part of our mastermind program, I'm pretty in-depth. I'm pretty knowledgeable of what's going on in their life and in their business. And if they've got like a grandkid that gets the first home run on a softball team, I'm going to promote that. Or if one of them is out playing golf and they're sponsoring a golf tournament, I'm going to promote that. So number one is to connect with them on social media. But the follow-up to that is find ways to promote them. The reality is it's not going to hurt your brand for the most part. It's not going to do any detrimental cause to you. But the person that's primarily going to see that is your customer. That customer, that bond of you taking that extra minute. And you're going to hear me talk a lot about that in terms of taking the extra minute. Listen for opportunities to promote and deepen your relationship with your customer. Now, this next one is one I have done for many years, probably since 2008. I've done this, and I find it to be one of the most powerful and impactful ways to build a relationship with your customer, and almost the least amount of time and effort. And that's very simply this. Send your customer a birthday card. Send your customer a birthday card. Many of you know I used to own an equipment rental company for the film and television business. And our job, we competed with a lot of other competitors to have that movie or that TV show become our customer. And on top of that, we had the problem where everybody in that industry, in that profession, pretty much is there very short term. So we needed a way to find a way to build a relationship with the customer and do it even when they had left that particular project. So the way we did it was we tested and tried this, but this is what we landed on. So I'm going to skip all the testing part and just let you know that the way we did it was we simply asked every single customer, hey, we are a company that loves to celebrate birthdays. When's your birthday and where should we send the card? What that did was it allowed people to tell us what their best place to receive a card was. 90% of them were at home. But we were a company of all guys, and if we made any lady particularly feel a little bit uncomfortable, she had the opportunity to say, send it to my office or send it to me, my PO box, that kind of thing. So especially if you're going to start this, you want to be asking just when's your birthday and where should we send the card? Now, we also followed it up with when's your birthday, not including the year. Now, are a couple of obvious reasons we didn't ask for the year. Number one, we didn't want to make anybody feel uncomfortable asking how old they are. But number two, I also didn't want to seem like I was kind of gross and trying to get more information out of that customer in terms of security questions that might be asked on security questions on websites and that kind of thing. So just stick with, hey, we'd love to send birthday cards. When's your birthday and where should we send the card? Not including the year. Okay. Now that's going to run you about $1. There are a couple of platforms out there that do it. If you want me to share with you my platform that I love and I use, just ping me in a comment or ping me. I'm all over the place. You can't miss me. And I'm happy to share with you the plan or at least the platform that I use. Now, let's take that a half notch up. Half notch up is, well, there's 2 notches up. We could also say you want to send a birthday card to family members of your customer. So if, for example, your customer has kids and it's not creepy. Now, I have to put this in the category of if it's not creepy, because it can be creepy. I'll give you an example. I used to run and own a Gymboree franchise, right? So when we would send parents birthday cards, that was cool. We also send our kids birthday cards, right? Now, in that context, it was not creepy at all for me to ask when the little kiddo's birthday was. Okay. So just, you got to use some discretion here. Now, I'll say this too, to take this half a notch up, what you really want to do is send a half birthday card. And what I love about the half birthday card is no one does this. It's so easy to do. So you just basically take if you're using a pre-programmed system or a calendar, it doesn't really matter. Just count out 180 days before or after the birthday. Now send them a card. Now, the reason that this is really cool is for a couple of reasons. Number one, nobody does it. So I cannot tell you how much social media play and phone calls you're going to get by doing this. But also, let's say, for example, it's May 1st. Okay. And somebody's birthday that came in your shop or wherever, their birthday was April 12th. Well, you're going to have to wait an entire year in order for this to start to work because their birthday was just passed. However, if it's, and again, like I'm just making this up, it's May 1st. If you were to count out and go, okay, well, in July or August, I think that's whenever, May's 5, 6, November, sorry. In November, send them a half birthday card. Gives you a sooner touch point, if you will. So birthday cards, half birthday cards, send them to the kid. Super easy to do. Next up, this is one of my favorite ones to do. And that is this. I like to support kids and entrepreneurial kids. So I like to buy magazine subscriptions. And so one of the things that you could do is you go buy magazine subscriptions. Now, if you got kiddos or kids of your customers, do it through them. Otherwise, just go and get magazine subscriptions to magazines that your customers would find valuable. Okay. Your customers would find valuable. So if, for example, you sold something in the nautical space, you might get Yachting Magazine, Sea Magazine, Boats Today magazine, those type of things. If you're in the financial services, you might get the New York Aficionado. You might get the New York Times sent to you. You might get the Wall Street Journal sent to you. You want to get physical magazines or newspapers that your customers are going to read or that they are going to approve of or like, right? Then all you do is simply cut out the articles. Right? Cut out the articles of Ford Magazine, of Entrepreneurial Magazine, of the Robb Report or whatever. You cut them out. Just if they're 2 pages, just staple them together. And then this is so cool. And you can have somebody on your staff do this or in the shop when you're bored or when there's nothing to do. What you do is you then take the address of your customer, just jot their name down on an envelope, handwrite the envelope if you can, handwrite the return address, and then put that article, fold it up, drop that article in the envelope with just a simple note on a Post-it note or something that just says, hey, Sally Sue, just thinking of you, Casey. Hey, Bob, just thinking of you, Casey. There's no need to send a business card. We're not trying to sell anything. We're just simply building relationships with that customer. Now, imagine what it looks like at the receiving end of that. You go to your mailbox, you open up an envelope, and it's from your mechanic or your local coffee shop or your boat upholstery place or your banker or your automotive dealership, right? Or your business coach. Now, imagine you open it up and it looks like they have really thought about you. Now, here's why I think this is so valuable, because it doesn't really matter what the article is. So if you're now, obviously, if you sell stuff to assisted living facilities and you're sending baby stuff, that's not going to be a fit. But it can be a pretty broad range because remember, it's the thought that counts. Okay, so you want to send articles. Next up, this is one that it is, again, I'm going to put it in the category of could be creepy, but don't let it be. And that is you want to be able to promote kids. Now, I like to also promote grandkids whenever I can. And so this works really well. I'm going to leave this one to your imagination. But for example, could you take and have a wall of pictures of kids? I know that, like, for example, when I was a kid at my dentist office, in the dentist office, they had pictures. They did Polaroids back then. I know many of you, if you don't know what Polaroids are, Google it, right? But they had Polaroids, and you got your picture up on the wall if you didn't have any cavities. Okay, and there was this whole wall of pictures, and it was awesome, and it was so cool to see me up there. That obviously kept my parents bringing me back. Now, let's say you run a restaurant, for example. Could you do something where you take pictures of people having a birthday there, especially if it's a kid or a grandkid? Put it up on the wall, promote those kids to your customer base. Now, again, please let me reiterate, don't be creepy. Like my friend Ryan Dice always says this, and I think it's just so perfect. It's like, don't be a weirdo, right? So don't be a weirdo. Next up is something that so many companies have taken on, and you can do something very similar even if you're not a national company, and that is create a rewards program. We all know what mileage programs are out there. I happen to be in my portfolio is a little piece of a beer craft tap room, and we sell craft beers. Well, the rewards program, we were trying to create a rewards program, but we just went online and found a rewards program that serviced other tap rooms around the country, and we were just able to plug right in. So find some kind of rewards program that would work for your industry, your profession, and tap into it. In today's marketplace, I'm telling you, there are so many rewards programs that you can just tap your customers right into. You don't even need to create it or build one. A lot of times they're already built for you. Okay. Another one, right, is come up with customer of the month. It seems so easy. We do it sometimes for employees of the month. We'll do another episode on building employee relationships, but since we're sticking with customers, have a customer of the month or have a couple customers of the month. You know, I work with an embroidery and screen printing company up in Washington State, and they have a giant reader board out front, and they literally put their customer of the month. I think they actually do customer of the week, now that I think about it, up on that reader board, and they just rotate it through. They can rotate it back and forth. And then obviously one thing they could do, and I'm just thinking this out loud, they could actually go on the reader board, take a picture of that reader board with that customer of the month on there, and send that picture or send a frame certificate or something to that customer. Now, we've got a couple of more. Number one, you could do a blog post on that customer. Think about it. And again, this is only going to work if it makes sense in your profession and your business. But if you have a blog, write a blog post on your customer, promote that customer, and then send that link over to the customer and let them do whatever they want. They can promote it. They could just read it. They could cry about it, laugh about it, whatever. Lastly, I came up with this. Do a video interview. And this just came up with me today because I am a customer of a company. They reached out to me today and asked if they could interview me on video for one of their success spotlight programs, right? So really, really cool. I'm just a customer, but they're going to interview me, put it up. What's that going to do? It's going to build my relationship deeper with that customer. So I just wanted to take a few minutes today, share a couple of ideas on how you can increase and build a relationship with your customer. Let me know in the comments below if you come up with something else. I always love hearing new, exciting ideas. I know we could talk about this for hours and hours and hours, and there are hundreds of different ways, but I want to just give you a quick smattering. So go out there, let's expand the business. Have an amazing day.